Have you ever seen a celebrity flash a triangle sign with their hands? Or pose with one eye, covered in a magazine shoot? Maybe you thought it was just art, just a pose, nothing more. But what if these hand gestures meant something deeper? What if we've been surrounded by hidden symbols all along, and never even realized it? In this video, we'll explore the world of Illuminati hand symbols, a mysterious set of gestures, signs, and poses that some believe are part of a global conspiracy, while others dismiss them as harmless or artistic expression. So, is it all just coincidence? Or is there something hiding in plain sight? Let's find out. To understand the symbols, we need to understand the source, or at least the idea of it. The Illuminati began as a real group. The Bavarian Illuminati, founded in 1776 by Adam White. It was a secret society that promoted Enlightenment values, reason, liberty, and science, but soon gained a reputation for secrecy and subversion. The group was officially disbanded in the late 1700s, but theories say it didn't vanish. It went underground, evolved, and became more powerful, hiding behind governments, corporations, and yes, media. Modern conspiracy theories claim that the Illuminati still exists, not as one single group, but as an invisible hand shaping pop culture, politics, and world events through coded symbols and messages, and their favorite tools, signs, gestures, hands. Over the last few decades, pop culture has become increasingly visual. Music videos, fashion campaigns, and stage performances are full of dramatic gestures and eye-catching poses, but some of these poses seem to repeat across artists, genres, and countries, especially among the most powerful or influential figures. Are these just coincidences? Or could they be signs of membership, allegiance, or silent communication? Conspiracy theorists believe it's no accident. They say the repetition of certain hand symbols is part of a conditioning process, meant to normalize the presence of secret knowledge, and even prepare the public for something bigger. While there's no official guidebook, theorists point to a handful of gestures seen over and over again. The triangle hand sign, formed by placing the thumbs and index fingers together, the eye cover, where one eye is intentionally obscured, the horned hand, resembling devil horns, sometimes linked to rock culture. The she pose, a finger over the lips, suggesting secrecy. The double six gesture, where fingers form, repeating sometimes over the eyes. Each one is said to carry meaning, not necessarily evil or malicious, but coded. Some say they represent loyalty, others say they're invitations, and some believe they're simply part of an ancient tradition that never disappeared, just evolved. Arguably, the most famous of all is the triangle, also called the ROC sign, made popular by rapper Jay-Z. It's formed by connecting the thumbs and forefingers into a triangle and held up in front of the eye or chest. On the surface, it was a brand symbol, but others saw more. The triangle resembles the Eye of Providence, also known as the all-seeing eye, a symbol long associated with the Illuminati, Freemasonry, and esoteric knowledge. Why does this shape appear in ancient architecture, currency, and now on stage during music awards? Is it just branding, or something older, something hidden in plain sight? You've seen it 1,000 times. A celebrity with one hand over one eye, a model peeking through their fingers, a musician with a spotlight on just one side of their face, known as the one eye or Eye of Horus pose. It's one of the most repeated images in pop culture, especially among the rich and famous. But why? In ancient Egypt, the Eye of Horus represented protection and royal power. In modern conspiracy lore, The one eye symbolizes Illuminati control, surveillance, and all-seeing awareness. The idea that someone or something is always watching. Is it just a photogenic trend, or a ritualistic reference to hidden watchers behind the curtain? Why do so many elite entertainers seem obsessed with this gesture? Then there's the horned hand. Thumb tucked in, index and pinky raised. In rock and heavy metal circles, it's known as the sign of the horns. Popularized by musicians like Ronnie James Dio, it's been used for decades to represent rebellion, energy, or even just fun. But conspiracy theorists claim it's more than that. They link it to Baphomet, satanic rituals, and ancient fertility gods. In this interpretation, the horns aren't innocent. They're invoking power, dominance, or allegiance to dark forces. Could a hand sign really mean all of that? Or are we simply projecting fear onto a misunderstood cultural gesture? Take a look at red carpet photos, music videos, fashion campaigns, again and again. High-profile celebrities use these symbols. Beyoncé, Rihanna, Kanye, even athletes and CEOs. Are they all part of a global cabal? That's unlikely. But theorists believe these repeated, stylized gestures serve a different purpose: to normalize occult symbols and desensitize the public to them, especially the younger generation. The theory goes like this: if we see it enough, we stop questioning it. And once that happens, deeper messages can be embedded without resistance. Music videos are visual feasts, and sometimes coded rituals. The triangle, the eye, the she sign, they're woven into choreography, camera angles, and stage sets. One example often cited is Katy Perry's Dark Horse, where she appears as an Egyptian queen with Illuminati symbols flashing behind her. A Lil Nas sees a C. Montero full of occult references and hand signs. Are these just artistic choices meant to shock and entertain? Or are they carefully crafted performances with deeper, esoteric meaning? And why do they echo the same handful of signs over and over again? It's not just pop stars. Politicians and royalty have also been photographed with strange gestures, some even identical to those used by entertainers. A subtle hand over the chest, a triangle formed near the stomach, the infamous handshake with hidden fingers. Some claim these signs are part of an internal communication system, a way for insiders to signal trust, rank, or allegiance, all without speaking. While many images can be explained away by coincidence or awkward timing, others are eerily precise. When you start seeing the same symbols in both Hollywood and Washington, it's hard not to wonder. Media, especially entertainment, shapes perception. It tells us what's cool, what's powerful, and what's normal. By including these symbols in movies, commercials, album covers, and even children's programming, some believe media is creating symbolic conditioning. The goal: to make esoteric or even occult imagery feel natural, trendy, and harmless. It's not about proof. It's about repetition. Show the audience the same thing enough times, and eventually they stop asking why. Some researchers trace Illuminati hand symbols back to Freemasonry, another secretive group that uses handshakes, symbols, and rituals to communicate. The triangle, the compass, the hidden hand. Many of these appear in both Masonic and pop culture imagery. So, are today's artists and politicians referencing ancient brotherhoods? Or are they simply borrowing aesthetic ideas for impact? On the other side, defenders of modern media say it's all branding. The triangle is just a cool shape. The eye is just a dramatic pose, and the repetition simply coincidence. But as one theorist puts it, branding only works if it connects to something deeper. And sometimes that deeper is far older than we realize. Where did these hand gestures actually come from? Some go back thousands of years. The horns can be found in ancient Mediterranean rituals. The triangle is a sacred geometric form in many mystical traditions. The one eye has roots in Egyptian and Mesopotamian lore. These weren't invented by celebrities. They were adopted. The question is, why? Why are gestures with such ancient spiritual weight being revived in mass media? Are they tapping into subconscious archetypes? Or are they quietly spreading forgotten philosophies under the radar? Depending on who you ask, Illuminati hand signs are either demonic or divine. Some Christian groups see the symbols as satanic influences, pointing to verses in the Bible that warn about the eye that sees all, or the beast with many signs. Others, especially in esoteric or occult circles, argue these gestures are tools for enlightenment, meant to awaken hidden knowledge within the self. So, are they dangerous, empowering, or simply misunderstood? What's clear is that they evoke powerful reactions, and anything that does that probably deserves a second look. Skeptics argue that all of this, the triangle, the eye, the hand signs, is pareidolia, our brain's tendency to find patterns where none exist. A hand over an eye, just a pose. Fingers forming a triangle, just aesthetics. The same pose across dozens of unrelated people, still coincidence. But at what point does repetition cross the line into intention? That's the heart of the theory. Not that one symbol means something, but that a pattern of symbols across unrelated contexts is not accidental. And if that's true, then someone or something is doing it on purpose. Many believe the real reason these theories are dismissed is because they threaten control. If people start questioning the symbols in plain sight, the ones they see in music, politics, and advertising, they may begin questioning who's placing them there. And so, algorithms downrank conspiracy videos, articles are labeled debunked, voices are silenced, or worse, this, in itself, becomes part of the conspiracy. Silence the question, and the answer never spreads. There's a concept in psychology called normalization through repetition. The more we see something, the less strange it feels, even if it started out feeling wrong. Some theorists believe this is exactly what's happening with Illuminati hand symbols. We're not meant to understand them. We're just meant to accept them. Accept them in music. Accept them in politics. Accept them as part of modern life. And once we've accepted the symbol, we're one step closer to accepting the system behind it. Imagine this. You grow up seeing celebrities make a hand gesture. You don't know what it means, but you see it everywhere. In concerts, on album covers, in movies, on award stages. Eventually, it becomes cool, familiar, trendy. But what if this exposure isn't harmless? What if it's conditioning? Some theorists argue that these gestures, even if misunderstood by the performer, act as triggers, symbols meant to bypass logic and speak directly to the subconscious mind. They aren't just signs, they're signals. Experts in symbology, semiotics, and history have mixed views. Some say the triangle and eye have been misunderstood, that they represent higher knowledge, not conspiracy. Others warn that symbols can hold power, regardless of intent, simply because of their emotional impact over time. In ancient cultures, symbols were seen as living forces, things that shape behavior and belief just by being seen or repeated. So even if no grand cabal exists, could the symbols themselves still be shaping how we think? So even if no grand cabal exists, could the symbols themselves still be shaping how we think? Debunkers argue that all of this is circumstantial. They say that in a world full of cameras, social media, and creative directors, people are bound to make similar shapes by accident. And maybe they're right, But believers counter with a question: why do the same handful of symbols keep appearing across decades, industries, and borders, always among the world's most influential figures? At the very least, it deserves more curiosity than ridicule. The internet has been both a magnifier and a minefield for Illuminati hand symbol theories. On one hand, it allows people to share patterns, screenshots, and it fuels curiosity and empowers independent investigation. On the other, it also spreads disinformation, paranoia, and sometimes even intentional hoaxes. So, how do you tell what's real? The answer isn't easy. And maybe that's the point. In a world full of filters, edits, and agendas, the truth itself becomes a puzzle. Let's take a step back. If all these symbols are intentional, if the triangle, the eye, the gestures are part of a plan, then we're not just looking at an artistic trend. We're looking at a system that uses imagery instead of words, and ritual instead of reason, to spread its message. And in that system, the average person isn't just a spectator, they're a participant. Even if they don't realize it, there's another theory, the most mysterious of all. What if Illuminati hand symbols aren't about control, but about chaos? What if their goal isn't to hide the truth, but to bury it in noise, to flood us with so many signs, images, and interpretations that we stop trusting anything, even our own instincts? If that's true, then the greatest conspiracy isn't about symbols. It's about confusion. You've seen the signs, you've heard the theories, you've followed the gestures from red carpets to royal halls. Now, the question is simple. Are these just coincidences? Or is something or someone using symbols to speak without speaking? In the end, you decide. But remember, the most powerful messages are the ones hidden in plain sight. Keep your eyes open, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more mind-bending explorations every day.